Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Adult language coming up. Headphones may be preferred. This is the Chrisley Confession Podcast, episode 153.
You're just a nosy bitch who wants to know everybody's personal business. But we don't owe you that.
What he just said.
And, you know, speaking of nosy bitches, we can talk about Katie Joy now.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, folks, everyone that listens to this podcast knows that this vile human being who makes up nothing but lies just again for clickbait. You know, she does it for clickbait because, you know, she's trying to make a living, and I don't fault people for trying to make a living. But, I mean, the things that this woman makes up and the lies that she tells are just crazy. But now I guess she's going after this woman, you know, she's going after someone else, and it's on that, Sister Wives or something. And so Katie Joy posts, because now she wants sympathy, folks. She doesn't understand why people call some agency, I guess Child Protective Services or something, you know, on her all the time. She doesn't understand why the police come to her house all the time. She doesn't understand why people dislike her so much. She doesn't understand why people on Twitter are so mean to her. Let me let you in on a secret, Katie. People don't like nasty, vile, ugly people. People don't like people who find comfort in other people's misery. People just don't like you because you don't like yourself. Because if you liked yourself, you would not be attacking everyone on social media. From your living room, by the way, which has a bad sofa and bad throw pillows and looks ratchet. But regardless of that, and I'm doing better than you, and I'm negative $5 million. Remember that. But with that being said, she's now crying, saying, Mary Brown's fans are currently encouraging her to sue me. They're falsely claiming that I'm being sued by multiple people. Katie, honey, learn to count. Multiple is anything past one. You are being sued by multiple people. There are two women that are currently getting ready to file defamation suits against you that your attorney reached out to their attorney trying to get them to settle with you for an NDA, and you would never talk about them again. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. They're suing you for defamation. Yes, I know. I've got the inside track. Unlike Katie, I do have the inside track. And you are going to be sued by those two people. And you're already being sued by a guy named Steve. That's 3. And the mother of all lawsuits is getting ready to land on your attorney Graham's desk by my attorneys, who I retained in Minnesota to come after you for multiple claims of defamation. So now this means that in this lawsuit, folks, we get to request tax returns. We get to request bank accounts. We get to request and subpoena YouTube for how much she's made off of YouTube. We get to compare that to how much she has shown on her taxes. We get to put everything that comes from this lawsuit. Keep in mind, folks, Katie claims that she gets everything she reports about me from public record, or the video that she did saying she'd been on the phone with Lindsay Chrisley Campbell for all day, where she was giving her all this information about me and the rest of the family. And she was just trying to figure out, it was so much, she was trying to figure out how she was going to organize her thoughts and get the information to you. Now, folks, remember, we're in the midst of depositions with this whole Georgia Department of Revenue stuff right now. So we've now had successfully 4 depositions. One of those depositions is my oldest daughter, Lindsay, who I understand does not wish for me to refer to her as that, so I'll refer to her as Lindsay. Lindsay has now been deposed, and in Lindsay's deposition, the question was asked, did you ever share personal information about your father, Todd Chrisley, or the rest of the family with Katie Joy Paulson? No, I did not. Now, folks, here's the issue. That was either a lie or Katie Joy Paulson lied. Either way, we're going to find out who the person was that lied, and that's going to be found out in deposition and through the subpoenaing of records. Now, Katie has been placed on a spoliation notice. She knows that she's not supposed to delete things. We have been sent information that she has. We're going to vet that out, and if she has, we will ask the court to bring sanctions against her. But going back to her statement that she has posted that they are falsely claiming that I'm being sued by multiple people. You are. They're also falsely claiming I lost lawsuits. I'm merely speaking about a docuseries and the reports of LuLaRoe's lawsuits. No, you're not. Anyone else can see what you're doing. You're trying to destroy someone else's livelihood, the same thing that you complain that everyone else is doing to you. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, I'm going to be posting an email address on my Twitter because you people are blowing me up on social media and I cannot keep up with all of it. So I'm setting up an email address that my attorneys will have access to where all of this information that you guys are sending, you will now send it to this email address. And for any person that's ever had any issues with Katie Joy, that she has falsely accused you of things or that she's tried to intimidate you by using the system to file false TROs against you by making up claims that are not true. I mean, folks, the things that we have all the way from detectives to police officers to fellow YouTubers to just plain citizens of the United States of America that this woman has gone after is baffling. And all of these people are reaching out to us. So if she goes on her Twitter and she goes on her Instagram, which I'm not going to pollute mine with all of that mess, and says that she doesn't have these lawsuits, well, technically she doesn't right now because they're in the process of being drafted. But her attorney has been, she sent out this blanket thing of, I don't know, her attorney, Graham someone, sent out this stuff about that to all these people trying to get them to shut up. That's basically all that it was trying to scare people into not speaking anymore. Well, that didn't work. Well, her attorney is Graham Martin in Minnesota. And so I'm represented by Robbins Kaplan. Mr. Graham was placed on notice on September the 13th, 2021, that all of his communication would now go through Charles Goki with Rogers and Kaplan. And it's just a long letter that I'm not going to get into, but basically my attorney, in a polite but very straightforward way, educated this attorney and told him that basically he didn't know what the hell he was sending me, that I had no obligations to hold on to communications with someone that I've never had communications with in the last 5 years. Don't even know these people, never met them. Just because someone sends me information through my attorney, I think that falls under attorney-client privilege because it doesn't come to me. But at any rate, my attorney did educate him, and now, he now knows, your attorney, Katie, now knows that I'm represented by two of the best in your state. And they have been charged with filing a massive lawsuit, because I love how you talk about you have assembled your team. Your team doesn't even want to be your team. Your attorneys don't want to represent you. Surely to God, these attorneys have enough sense to see the derangement that comes out of your mouth and the things that you say and do with YouTube. Now, folks, we are filing our complaints with YouTube. We're going to subpoena all the records from YouTube. We're going to get all of the revenue that she's generated, and we're going to show the spikes when she used our name to generate that revenue so that we can form a basis of how much we're going to come after her for. But we're going to file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against her for damages to reputation. The things that this woman says about people, she can't even prove. And here's the thing about slander. It's not slander if it's the truth. You cannot prove that what you've posted is the truth or that what you've said is the truth. So, and the beautiful thing is that we're now trying to move this to a class action status. We're up to 7 people now. We would like to get to 12. And if that happens, then I will fund this litigation and we will move it forward in a class action style. If we don't get to that number, I will focus on my damages and let the other 4 or 5 people that's going to file their suits. But either way, when she says that she does not have multiple lawsuits, technically, and that's where she tries to get off with things, technically, she doesn't. She only has the one with this Steve guy. But she has mine coming, and she has 2 others coming that she's trying to stop right now by offering NDAs, and I'm told that neither of these women will sign an NDA. Now, there was another lady who I have now come into contact with, who I absolutely love, and if you guys don't know who she is, you should follow her because she is entertainment at its best. Emily D. Baker. I encourage you to go listen to her podcast that she did last week, talking about this email letter that was sent by her attorney, Graham, to all of these people that have nothing to do with what she's talking about. It was just people she wanted to shut up and intimidate because she thought that she was rich by getting an attorney to do a blanket letter to send to every person that she wanted to send. Because for some reason, I think she thinks that she's, classy or sophisticated or in the elite group if she can hire an attorney. Let me just tell you something, folks. Nobody wants to hire an attorney. If you're having to hire an attorney, you know that you're having to spend money. So I look forward to seeing how Katie's going to pay for these bills that we're getting ready to rack up with her, because my attorneys are going to keep her attorney, Graham, very, very, very busy. Between my folks at Balch and Bingham in Atlanta and the folks with the new law firm in Minnesota, those firms are going to keep her extremely, extremely busy. So I will post that new email address on my Twitter, and it'll be posted sometime today or tomorrow whenever I get around to it. And then you guys can send everything that you want to send when you want to send it, and our folks will go through it. And if there's anything in there that I feel that's worthy of me reporting about, then I'll report back to you. Now, let's talk about the Met Gala.